Awesome. So Petra is one of our 3M system clients, and she's here to share her story, which I think is always impactful. And so thank you so much, Petra, for doing this on Saturday morning. But talk to us, like, why did you seek out the 3M? Why did you come to us? Like, what was the big struggle that you were feeling?
So I know what the terminology is when I went through, I think it was week 9 or 10. So I was in chronic stress about food and about my body image, and just, it was all consuming 24 hours a day, nonstop.
Yeah. The I should and I shouldn'ts, right?
Yeah.
Think about it constantly.
Yep. And then it was just hot flashes and just feeling like shit, and just every day the weight is going on and on and on. Feeling super not sexy.
Well, that's
right?
it.
Like no libido. I'm like, oh my God, this is the grossest I've ever felt in my life. And just exhausted. Just all consuming exhaustion. And you know, you'd go to bed and you'd be like, oh, well, tomorrow's a new day. This is gonna happen tomorrow, right? And as you're going through it day over day, week over week, you know, your inner thighs are chafing more and more down your legs, and you're like, oh my God, this is disgusting. Like, how is this happening to me? And then, you know, waking up with hot sweats, night sweats, and you're just legs in the air, sweat dripping down, pooling in your belly, and your belly's getting bigger, and you're like, what is going on with me? It's gross. It's terrible.
And it's emotional. Like, I appreciate you being emotional about it, because I don't think women are real enough. Like, not, I shouldn't say that, not real enough, but like we're so used to just blocking it and being like, nope, no, it's okay. I'll try this diet. I'll try that. And just like you letting it loose because you've come so far. And we're going to talk about how far you've come here in a second, but just being like, I appreciate you, like just being honest and real and raw about it, because so many women feel that way. Just just wears you down. So, it wears you down. It wears you down. And then you're like,
it's months. Months and months and months and months and months. And then you, like you always say, right? We go back and we do what we normally do. Okay, I'm gonna stop drinking. I'm gonna not drink until Saturday. I'm gonna eat clean. I'm gonna blah, 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 blah. And then I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna do this. And then life happens and stress happens. And then it's like, okay, well, that was a little shitty week. Like, way to go. You suck.
And are those things, like, what did you try? Like, when you had that frustration, what did you try before?
So, you know, pre hot flashes, pre all that. I mean, I've always been really active. So we, down here in Niagara, there were 3 girls that started something called an 8-week challenge. So, it's like a 56-day eat clean, and it's, you know, it's nutritional, it's cutting out sugars, you know, you can have your carbs, replace your pastas with kamut pasta or whatever. You know, limit your pork, whatever, like all that kind of stuff. Have red meat once, twice a week instead of 5 days, all that stuff. So we would do that every year religiously. We do a reset in October. So we go October, November, do a reset, lose the inches, lose the weight, all great. Their BAU is 80% clean, 20% have a cheat. So it'd be like, okay, well, a couple times a week. Well, a couple times a week changes very quickly into, oh, well, it's like I'm drinking 6 days a week because we're being social. I'm, you know, I'm just doing whatever I want. And then the summertime comes, and then now you're having camp pasta when you're camping. I'm having white carbs. I'm having bread. I'm like, and then by the time September comes, you're like, okay, well, I'm back up. Okay, here we go. Do it again. And that was fine. It was a cycle, and that was okay, right? And then prior to that, last summer, a friend of mine introduced me to Gina Levy, which is just all about, you know, protein breakfast, fruit, greens, raw veg, seeds, dinner. Great. So I did that in August and had some success with that. Like, I went down to, I know it's a number, but I went down to 164. It was feeling good. And then camping hit, and then it's like, whoop. And then September, October is really where it just started climbing. And I was like peaking out at, like, my biggest fear, I think, when I first signed on with you is, so what's your biggest fear? my biggest fear was to hit 200 pounds in the scale. Like I would not know.
I
what to
remember
do.
us talking about that. And you're
Right?
like, I'm done. You're like, I found some things that worked, but they're not working in my life. Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm on this, like, do it, get success, off. Do it, get success, off. Right? And you're saying like emotionally exhausting. And I was just, you're ready to find something that was just doable, sustainable, and worked in
Yeah.
your life. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, at this point, I was already building my health team for
Yes.
menopause and living with that. So, you know, had my naturopath, was talking to my doctor,
Yeah.
did a, you know, very honest Facebook post saying, okay, this is terrible. Like, I don't even understand how people think this is a great time of your life. Like, and it was around, you know, every day it's like, I talk to myself saying, this is the day it changes. And then I wake up in the middle of the night and I shuffle to the washroom and I'm soaked in sweat. My inner thigh chafing is growing. And this is just pathetic. And then I got introduced to Menopause Chicks Facebook group. So from there, I learned a lot of things. And that's where we talked about, I learned about nutritional stuff. And I'm like, okay. And then thankfully a girlfriend introduced me to your Reignite 4-day thing. And here we are, right?
And then that's when that was a great sort of preempt to getting into the 3M system, right?
100%. And it's basically, for me, it's been kind of my last building block to put it all together. And it was at the right time because, you know, some people are, you know, some friends will reach out and they're like, okay, so what, you know, what's your magic? And I'm like, it's not magic. It's been a year of learning and growing and expanding my health team and putting in a lot of time. It's not a magic pill. It's, for me, it's multiple things that are building together that then, you know, I've been, knock on wood, pretty much no hot flashes since the 3rd week of December.
And we talked about it, like women are like, well, hot flashes are a part of menopause. And wait, can you share your age? Do you mind sharing your age?
Yeah, I'm 50. Where am I? 51.
51, right? And we think, oh, this is a part of it. It's not.
Yeah. No,
it's not.
That's
it's like
this.
painful, heavy periods for your teenage girls. It is not. Yes.
That's what this is.
Yes.
Right. So it's,
and you're
you
a
deserve
mom,
to feel
and
amazing.
You're a mom and busy, and you went back to work in January. And what is it that you do again? I forget.
I'm a project manager.
Project manager with like a ton of projects that we were talking about. So having it work in your life was super important, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Talking about that me time. What big hesitations did you have? So you knew that you wanted to build your wellness team. You're like, I know I deserve to feel amazing. I'm exhausted from the constant spinning wheel in my head telling me otherwise, right? What was your hesitation? Maybe
I don't know if I really had one because I was really at that point where I was just very like, I'm always open to learn and to hear and understand new things. Like, I'm always open to that because I think we constantly evolve. And sometimes I think I don't evolve enough and I don't maximize my time enough in a day, but I do for what I need to do. But I really wasn't hesitant. I really appreciate that everything in the 3M is basically all the things I've known about, but they try to do it all in like 1 week, right? It's like, okay, so you're gonna figure out your meal times, you're gonna increase your water, you're gonna increase your movement, you're gonna, you know, think about what you want to be and where you want to go. And it's like, oh my God, like, how about I just start with one simple thing? Can I just start with one? And that's the thing that I really, you know, I gave typically as I get older, when I start to, you know, do what I should be doing, like old school, old days, it would take around 5 to 6 weeks to start seeing the inches come off and start seeing change. Whereas when, you know, my husband, thankfully men, they're so lucky, within days.
Good old HGH and testosterone.
It's great. It's all good. And I'm like, great. I'm just like struggling. I'm like, okay, just stick with it. Stick with it. So I wasn't necessarily hesitant. Like I said, I think the biggest shift for me mentally is consistent. Consistency is my new word.
Yeah. Because I say to you guys over and over again, I'm like, it's not slow, it's strategic. And I want you guys to learn why we're doing the things that we're doing, why 100%. We have to work on the neural realignment, why we have to work on, you know, hormone balancing movement and working out smarter because of our physiology in our 40s and 50s, why your nutrition needs to match your energy demand of your day. And we were just talking before we started doing this little mini interview about how we have like plan A, plan B, and now you're like, and I have a plan C, right? So we can make sure that we're matching and our days nutritionally to support it. And then we release the fluff, right? What are you most proud of so far in your journey?
Oh my God, so much. I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna get emotional again.
I know, I'm gonna get emotional too.
Recognizing my mean girl and limiting that crap.
Yeah.
I'm proud of that. I don't know, it's just so much. This, like these things, never did this before, right?
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, I'm giving myself grace. And really, it's for me, the biggest shift has just been the mental conversations, like really big. And, you know, that dopamine trap stuff, I don't have that anymore. Like, I really don't. I got a big box of Ferrero Rochers for Christmas. Normally by now they'd be gone because I'd sit there and eat like 10 of them and go, oh my God, this is so good.
My favorite. Yep.
Yeah. My thing was, okay, I'll have one a week, because then it almost gets me to Christmas. I think I've had all of like 4 since January.
Yeah, you don't feel deprived. You just don't.
Well, I did. Yeah. And then the other thing is, I no longer deprive myself. Like I really don't. If I want to have my wine, I have my wine, but I make sure I drink 96 ounces of water before
with your bands. Oh, I don't have mine with my bands on there. Yep.
Right. Yep. So that's the thing. Like last night we went out for a concert. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't get my water in, so got there to the bar. I'm like, can I have a pitcher of water, no ice? And she's like, what? I'm like, just a pitcher of water, no ice, a glass. I drank my 5 glasses to get to 96 ounces, and then I had a pint, right?
Yeah.
So,
you're not feeling deprived.
I'm just really, like I'm just proud of all that, and just, I don't know, it's been a really, like I said, it's just been the final building block that I really needed to just get it together. Not that I was falling apart before, but just, like I said, it's just the building blocks to have it all work together. And understand, right? Like I've got a girlfriend of mine, she's like, last weekend when we were away, she's like, oh, you know, I'll start again tomorrow. And I'm like, oh man, you got to meet my friend Moni. Like, I got to connect you with my nutritional coach, because that's not the way you talk to yourself, right?
No,
it's, you don't.
That was my biggest, for you, that has been in the last 4 months, the biggest thing I've seen for you, because you're such a doer. Like most women in our community is like, just tell me what to do, I will do it. And you knew that you wanted to stop the cycle, but you realized how much of the mental game it was. And every time when I do these, you know, little mini interviews with clients, and I say, what are you walking away with? Besides the inches lost, feeling good about myself, because you can lose inches and still look in the mirror and not like what you see back. Right. So that's why this has to come along for the ride. Right. And you've done that, and you've recognized it. And I think that's why there's such a release right now with us just talking about it, because you're like, oh my gosh, like what? I wouldn't say that to my best friend. Why am I saying it to myself? You know, over and over again. So I'm super proud that you've committed to the work that way and educating yourself to make sure that now you can be starting to see the physique and the Petra that you want, right? And the strength that you want, and you know, the sexiness that you want, and all those things. Right?
Absolutely.
Super proud of that. Where are you right now with your goals? Do you think, or like what's
well,
next?
you know, it's not necessarily about the number on the scale, but it's always a nice number to see. I'm not gonna lie, that's always nice, right? So right now, I'm down, you know, if numbers are important, I'm down 18 pounds. So I peaked at 178, I'm down to 160. Inches, my skinny jeans can slide back on. I don't necessarily need to jump and to get the button up. So that's huge. And then, you know, I'm being more consistent at laying in bed first thing in the morning, doing my breathing and setting my intention, or just visualizing my day. And that's where my plan A, B, and now C sometimes kicks in. It's like, okay, so here's what I'd like it to be. If that doesn't happen, this is going to happen. And if that can't happen, then I'll, you know, recognize my energy demand and what I need.
Yes.
I ask myself now a fair amount of times, what do I need right now? What does my body need right now?
Check-ins. Yes.
Yeah, I do a lot of checking in.
Yep.
From a visualization of who or what.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still working on that, right? That's my next leg of the journey.
Yep.
But yeah, like I said, I no longer deprive myself of anything. If I want the cake, I eat the cake. But I eat the cake now after lunch or dinner. I don't eat it midday.
Yeah. You have a strategy behind it. That's why there's no cheat days. We don't have these cheat days. You know, we're changing the narrative around food, right? That, you know, bad food's a treat and healthy food is like the norm. And, you know, there's a lot of work there, but I'm glad. And you're not going to really know the next goal right away, but maybe it is for you just finding the balance with being back to work in such a busy career right now. Right. And like you said, it's not always about the numbers, but that is one of the metrics for us to see now that hormonally you're primed, right? The hot flashes are gone. We're in menopause. We're feeling like ourselves. We feel the mind body connection, but we also have the other markers too in there that are showing that we have an efficient metabolism. Right.
Right.
So
exactly.
Now your body's gonna be like, I like this. I know how to use my carbs and fats for energy. I know how to get stronger with my resistance training. I like the mental work that she's doing. It feels good. Right.
Yeah. And, you know, trying to explain to people insulin's the big driver and cortisol and the partnership, they're looking at me going, what are you talking about? I'm like, okay, well, just saying, as your stress goes up, you want more sugar. And if you feed yourself more sugar, you're just going to be like a yo-yo. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I know. I know nothing about science, but I know that. I'm very aware. Yeah. Right. So, and I mean, from a stress perspective, that's always been a strong point for me. I can manage that very well. And, you know, all of the many decades of yoga breathing and all that stuff, but it's just more that checking in and what is it you need and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, my friend, I am so proud of you. Like beyond words. Now I'm going to start crying. I'm so proud of you beyond words. I really appreciate you being super authentic and real with everybody, because I think, guys, when you guys are watching this, you're going to be like, oh my God, that's me. Right. I'm not alone. Right. This is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you do feel alone. You feel like your body's broken up with you and you feel like, okay, I'm going to try what my cousin Sue did because she lost the weight doing that or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
But you're not. So I thank you so much, and have an awesome Saturday.
Yeah, you too. I'm going to try to get out and enjoy the sunshine and get a walk in. So
I know it's actually maybe sunny for us here today in southern Ontario, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. Anyways. Well, thank you very much for everything and for your constant support and having a great program. It's amazing.
Yes. Awesome. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Bye, Petra. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye. Bye.